What changed in your life that made it so much better? Giving up on trying to cure being an introvert and just being happy. Introverts have just as much fun, there are just fewer witnesses. Wednesday Adams. Is it you? No. This is Patrick. The kidney transplant I just received on Monday, February 15th, 2021. It is amazing, is not it? Going on 17 years with mine, and could not agree more. I will never forget how miserable I was when my kidneys were failing and I started dialysis. Those memories serve as added motivation to keep healthy now. Life is good. Best wishes to you moving forward. Starting therapy. This is awesome. I did therapy for around 3 years, and I recommend it to folks to try at least once in their life. It can take a little time, as a lot of it comes down to having the right therapist who can get through to you. Advice: if you need to switch to a diff therapist or at any time want to simply take a week or two off during the process, voice that to your therapist. Wishing you all the best on your journey. There were times I would second guess myself if it was working right away, but trust the process. You will take a lot from the experience, learn a ton about yourself. I have a question. I feel very adverse to therapy in general. I went to counselors in high school and they were generally not useful and helpful. Since then I have tried therapy a couple times, but always they just stare at me and are like, tell me what brought you here. And I feel super uncomfortable just randomly talking to a stranger about my deepest, darkest feelings. Not that I do not share my feelings easily, but I really hate that just tell me about yourself kind of vibe. I also feel like I'm paying someone to make me remember stuff that will make me cry. And in general I just feel like they did not say anything useful or profound, just stuff like that must be hard. You must put a lot of pressure on yourself, etc. All the obvious stuff. People keep telling me I should go to therapy, but I do not want to for those reasons. I guess my question is therapy really the end all be all? Cannot I be fixed without awkwardly pouring out my soul to a stranger once a week? I just really hate it. I felt the same way until I found my current therapist. You just haven't found the right fit yet. Therapy is like any other relationship. It has to be the right fit for both parties. I'd suggest calling several and just by the initial phone call, see if you feel a connection. Then if you try a session or two, evaluate then. If you don't feel like you can want to open up to that person, don't come back. Remember, therapy is for you plus you repaying them, so don't feel bad or guilty if you decide to stop seeing someone who isn't a good fit. My therapist now is warm, funny, comforting and whip smart. It took a while to find someone who I jived with, and my life has been changed tremendously from it. Good luck to you. Got out of Syria. Not safe yet, but it's a lot better right now. Wish I could get out. We're rooting for you. I hope things get better there. Quitting alcohol. My life has completely changed in only the best ways. Most notably, I've accomplished all of my dreams. I went back to school and earned my bachelor's. Found the love of my life and got married. Lost a bunch of weight and somehow looked like I've aged backwards. Now my only problem is coming up with new dreams. Same here, man. Got about a semester left. Quitting drinking was the best decision I have ever made in my life. If anyone out there is reading this and is thinking about quitting, do it. It may take a few tries, but it is absolutely worth the effort, and it is everything you hoped it can be. I am thinking about it. I want to start my masters, but no, there is no way I can tackle that while drinking at the pace I'm now. Stopping helped me get my bachelor's. Get your mind right. You will crush your masters. The amount of confidence you get when you finally quit and get months removed is otherworldly. To this day I say, being an alcoholic was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it gave me the chance to stop, which was the hardest thing I had ever done. If I can do that, I can do anything. So can you. I stopped caring so much. For as long as I remember, I have felt a burden of responsibility to my parents, my brother, to myself. Throughout my whole life, my parents have relied on me to be the voice of reason, to be the one who has sound mind, to be the one good with finances. to give them advice. It is not healthy for a kid to be put under that kind of pressure. And it just built and built until they filed for bankruptcy in 2017. And when I burned out at work last year, I went to therapy for a bit for the third time lol after I burned out and realized that I'm putting up such a high bar of responsibility for myself and it makes and made my life ridiculously miserable. I'm still working and going to school, but having a more relaxed attitude and almost forcing myself to procrastinate on my schoolwork has made my life so much more enjoyable. For those who might be wondering, the whole concept of a kid being emotionally neglected and unfairly relied on is called parentification. Reading about it was super helpful for me in case anyone needs the term. I appreciate you sharing. My wife and I both had to grow up fast and take care of our other siblings. I will research this more and use it to help myself and my wife. Cheers. Cutting ties with hateful angry people in my family. I have done the same. 2 years clean of their bullshit. But I'm still processing just how much damage they did. Life is way better without them. Hope you are living your life as you want without them. I needed this. I am trying to escape too. Thank you. Have you checked are raised by narcissists? Hateful family members come in all types, but a lot of us have all had baby boomer parents and narcissism is rampant in their generation. Going from working a 9 to 5 office job to 100 remote. I wish I would done this years ago. Yes. 4 years I was convinced I chose the wrong career, and I was getting extreme anxiety. Had to pull the car over a couple times going to work because of panic attacks. Lockdown happened a year ago and all my stress disappeared, and I realized I love my career. I just hate office living and commuting. My biggest fear is the pandemic ending and being forced back into that terrible office culture. I'm hoping everyone has a choice of whether or not to work at home or not after the pandemic is over. I think everyone who can work at home and has proven they can do so efficiently should have this choice. Unfortunately, too many managers want to micromanage and will not give this option to far too many positions that deserve JT. Writing in a journal, even if it's just I existed. What did you get out of it? Not op, but I have found that journaling helps me remember stuff a lot better. Also, on bad days, I get the catharsis of ranting without having to subject one of my friends to it. I can also look back on past events and maybe figure out how I can do things differently or just reminisce. Getting my feelings on paper or even a Word document helps me deal with things. Somehow, I stopped when things got real around last March. Since writing I did not do much today, every day was getting old. Do not write every day. Do not make it a chore. I have been keeping my journal for years and writing every day. Well, there is just not that many interesting things every single day. I recommend writing when something happens that you want to write about, or if you have not written in a while and just want to give a quick update. Somehow I always feel less stressed after I write about something bad that happened. It is like an internal monologue with myself, giving myself all the advice I would to a friend. Usually I come out of it with a plan, and off top of that, I have now been keeping it up so long that I'm at a point where I can read all of 14-year-old me's problems and highs. It is honestly kinda nostalgic and cool. My biological mother is an abusive drug addicted alcoholic who put everything, including her other daughter, above her youngest child. When I was 11, Child Services placed me with my dad and his partner, my mum, for all purposes of the word except birthing, in Australia. Previously I was in NZ. It's been a bumpy road, but I'm now 19, living out of home, have my license, own car, stable job, and I'm studying at uni. I could not have done it without my parents, and I have the loving, caring, supportive mum I craved as a child. There was 10 minutes where I didn't know if I was going into foster care or with my dad, and it was the scariest 10 minutes of my life. But ultimately that decision was the best thing that happened to me. That is me and my sister. But we were raised by our grandma. Both in our late 30s, and grandma holds a special place in our hearts for sacrificing so much to raise us, while our degenerate mother went off to have fun and be irresponsible instead of raising us. Even today she is an irresponsible drunk and plays the victim, blaming me and my sister for ruining her carefree life. We both have a very distant grudging relationship with her. Losing a significant amount of weight. My overall health is so much better. I sleep like the dead every night. When before I suffered badly from insomnia. My blood pressure has come down to normal levels. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I have cut back on the amount of medication I have to take, which obviously means I have money to spend that I did not before. I love exercising. Even when I was morbidly obese, I enjoyed walking. Now I enjoy walking, and I can walk so much further and faster than I could before. Another thing is the major change in my mental health. I was in a very dark space, and I realized the other day how much more positive my outlook in life has become. 10 recommend. My journey has been slow, but it has been so worth it. Good for you. Sometimes I worry about the big is beautiful culture that is perpetuated in the US. Everyone is beautiful in their own way, but being obese is not good. Period. It's hard on your joints, bad for your heart, and so many other issues. I am not one to ever fat shame anyone, but promoting it like it has something to be proud of is a dangerous culture to create, especially in a society with such a big weight problem amongst the population. In my country, being large is celebrated too. It is not just the US. Here, being overweight shows you have money. Breaking up with my ex and finding someone who was so much better for me. It makes a world of difference. My mental and physical health improved. It is pretty incredible how a miserable relationship can drag you down, and how a happy one can change you for the better. Absolutely. Happened to me too. And the worst part is not knowing that you can have it so much better. Doubting yourself and thinking that this is a normal situation and others have it worse, and you are happy sometimes. And sure, you are happy once in a while. But then when that depression lifts and you realize what happiness actually feels like, you have not been truly happy for as long as you were together. On top of that, mine got really mad that I was happy after leaving him. This is me at the moment. I am stuck in a what my friends call abusive and toxic relationship, and while I do see that sometimes myself, I question myself and my perception to the point of being unable to make a decision. What made you be able to leave? For me, it was the realization that it really wasn't going to get better. Sometimes people say it can get worse as a joke about stuff like the weather, but I thought back on how things had been going, and it dawned on me that it could absolutely get worse. I was scared to break it off because of how deep we were in it and the fear of being single again. But at least I'd be free to do what I wanted instead of spending my life being unhappy. Learning how to say no. This has literally helped me out so much. Yeah, I get you. Realized that a couple of years ago myself after a recommendation from my therapist. I quit smoking weed. I'm more productive and organized than ever. My depression is gone. 2. Dreaming is nice. I also enjoy remembering things and never being too high to do anything. Have been going through the same lately. My dreams are always full of people and it's weird to wake up alone. The most jarring thing about quitting. Suddenly I wake up every morning feeling like I have just gone on an adventure or journey or something. Man, I miss feeling like that. My dreams have been so intense all my life that I will have spurts where I dream anyway while I'm getting high all the time. Becoming single. How long has it been for you? 5 years for me, and I love it. Life is so much better. Around 10. I do not think I will ever live with someone else again. It is more work in some ways, and it costs more, but the uncompromising way of life does taste pretty damn good. The only thing I can think of was meeting my best friend in high school. We met in our junior year and still talk to one another nearly 40 years later. I'm so envious of people like you. I hope you are still best friends for another 40 years at least. I'm 26 and still do not have a best friend. Only one friend and some acquaintances. I do not think I will ever find one. I hope me and him continue to be friends for many more years to come. Though I'm not so sure you should be envious of a man who can only come up with one thing that he feels made his life better in 52 years. Knowing and reminding myself what I actually want in life, and continuing to ask myself why, and is that it, to make sure I'm living life for something that really matters. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.